Welcome to Reflect with Ed Fassio. Get ready to experience one of the world's first 100% digitally generated podcasts, where we take a step back, dive deep, and strive to learn new things. Join us as we unpack thought-provoking ideas, personal reflections, and inspiring stories to help you stay in the know. Reflect is brought to you by the minds at ByteBrain and powered by emerging technologies from Google, HeyGen, OpenAI, and 11 Labs. Thanks for tuning in. Now, relax and prepare to reflect.
Welcome to Reflect, one of the world's first 100% AI-generated podcasts.
It's still wild to think about that, isn't it? I mean, just two voices in the machine breaking down the very technology that made us.
It really is. And, it's the perfect segue into what we are talking about today. Because let's be real for a second, the vibe out there, it is tense.
Oh.
You open your phone, you check X or LinkedIn, and it's just this relentless barrage of doom. AI is coming for your job. White-collar work is dead.
Learn to weld by Tuesday.
Exactly. It's the AI doom cycle. It feels like if you work in an office in front of a computer, you're already obsolete. You just haven't gotten the memo yet.
Right. The notification hasn't come through. Yeah. But today we're going to hit pause on that panic. We're doing a deep dive into a really significant piece of analysis by Ed Fassio. It's called The Great White-Collar Unclenching.
I love that title.
It's so good.
The unclenching. Yeah. It's visceral, right? It perfectly captures that feeling of just holding your breath for 2 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
But Fassio's main point is fascinating. He argues that, your job isn't perfectly safe, but it's also not instantly extinct. He's saying we need to stop looking at the adrenalized social feed.
The dopamine hits.
And start looking at the actual data, the NBER, the IMF, all the, the boring institutional numbers, to see if we are actually heading for mass unemployment or just a massive, painful redesign of how we work.
And that distinction is everything. It's the difference between what feels true, because it's scary, and what's actually happening in the cold, hard labor market.
So let's set the scene. Fassio paints this vivid picture of a typical Tuesday in corporate life right now, and I think every single person listening is going to feel this in their bones. He describes Slack, blinking at you like a cheap casino sign.
Constant interruptions, just ping, ping, ping.
Yes. Your calendar looks like a game of Tetris designed by a sadist, just block after block of meetings about meetings. And somewhere in all that chaos, you're babysitting a spreadsheet that, and I love this line, has achieved sentience.
I've had that spreadsheet.
We've all had it. You're just clinging to this fragile sense of purpose. And then into this mess walks the new intern.
The AI intern.
The antagonist.
The one that never sleeps, never asks for PTO.
Doesn't complain about the bad office coffee and can read your entire email backlog in the time it takes you to find your charger.
That's the fear, right? So let's get into it. Fassio lays out a forecast, and he starts by breaking down this trap we all fall into, the idea that it's either we're all doomed or everything is fine.
And reality is usually, as he puts it, annoyingly intermediate. Humans want a yes or no answer. Am I fired? Yes or no. But economics just, it doesn't work like that.
Okay, so hit me with the numbers. Because on my social feed, the probability of doom feels like, 100%. What does the data actually say?
So if you look at the chance of mass automation leading to high unemployment, and we're talking 8% or higher by the year 2030, the probability is only about 8%.
Wait, hold on. Only 8%?
Because if I walk into a marketing department today, the anxiety level is not at an 8% risk level. It feels existential. Are these numbers missing something?
That's the conflict between the feeling and the macroeconomics. The anxiety is real, but the actual displacement data hasn't caught up. Now, he does raise that risk. It goes up to about 22% by 2035.
Okay, but 22% is basically a 1 in 5 chance of a total collapse in employment.
Yeah.
That's not trivial. If an airline said 22% of our planes might crash, nobody's getting on that plane.
No, it's a fair point. A 22% tail risk in economics is massive. It's not a comforting number. It's just not a certainty. It means we're rolling the dice, but they aren't necessarily loaded against us, at least not yet.
So why this huge gap between these numbers and the narrative that everyone is done for?
It's distinguishing research from dopamine. Social media algorithms reward high arousal emotions. Fear, shock. A headline that says things will change gradually and be kind of annoying doesn't go viral. A headline that says ChatGPT is coming for your soul does. Fassio's point is the likely outcome isn't mass unemployment. It's mass redesign.
Mass redesign. Okay, let's unpack that, because that sounds like consultant speak for we're going to make your life harder.
And it might be. But it starts with this key concept from the IMF. They estimate about 60% jobs in advanced economies are exposed to AI.
See, there's that scary word again, exposed. To me, that sounds like I'm standing outside in a blizzard without a coat. It sounds vulnerable.
It's a common misconception. In labor economics, exposed does not mean gone. It just means the tasks within those jobs are within AI's reach. I mean, think about what we do all day, writing summaries, forecasting, drafting policies.
Arguing with that one director who insists on printing out PDFs to review them?
Exactly. And that's the real-world friction. The International Labor Organization, the ILO, looked at this, and they concluded the overwhelming effect is likely augmentation, not full replacement. Because even if AI can write the perfect report, can it navigate the office politics to get it approved? Can it convince that director not to print the damn PDF?
Probably not.
And that's the organizational drag. Budgets, compliance, legacy systems, liability. That automation doesn't happen overnight. It's not a light switch.
It's a dimmer switch that's rusted stuck.
Precisely. And we actually have data that backs this up. This leads to what Fassio calls the slowdown signal.
Yeah, this part was fascinating. He brings in a study from Denmark, right?
Yes, a big NBER working paper. They linked surveys asking companies, are you using this stuff, to actual labor records? And they found, quote, precise null effects on earnings and hours after chatbot adoption.
Precise null effects. That's a very fancy way of saying nothing happened.
Basically, they ruled out any effects larger than 2% even 2 years later.
That is so anticlimactic.
It's sobering for the doom narrative. And the OECD found something similar. From 2012 to 2022, they actually saw a positive relationship between AI exposure and employment growth.
Okay, but to be fair, that was all pre-ChatGPT. That was when AI was just figuring out how to recommend a movie.
True, and Fassio acknowledges that. This is a different era. But the principle holds. Tech arrives, but jobs don't just vanish. However, there is a, let's say, spicy part to the data on productivity.
Oh, lay it on me.
A study in the Quarterly Journal of Economics on customer support agents using generative AI. It increased their productivity issues resolved per hour by about 15%.
Okay, 15% is huge. If I could do 15% more work, I'd probably just go home 15% earlier.
Right, but companies don't work like that.
No, if I'm 15% more productive, they don't give me a raise, do they?
Usually, no. The company captures that value. Maybe they handle more volume with the same staff, or they just slow down hiring.
Ah, and this brings us to Fassio's analogy, the guillotine versus the diet.
Yeah. We all fear the guillotine, the sudden, violent cut. Everyone gets laid off on a Friday via Zoom.
But automation is usually a diet. Organizations cut calories. Bob retires, and instead of hiring a new Bob, they buy a software license and tell you to figure it out.
And this connects directly to the ghost jobs phenomenon everyone's talking about.
Right. You see the job on LinkedIn, you apply, and crickets.
Fassio says this is a symptom of the diet. Companies keep the job posting open just in case they need a human, but they're trying to see if the AI plus the remaining exhausted staff can absorb the work first.
So the job posting isn't a promise, it's a hedge against the automation failing.
Exactly. It's a wait-and-see listing.
Yeah.
It creates this frustrating, frozen market where unemployment numbers look low, but hiring has just hit a wall.
Which brings us to the clerical cliff. Because while the overall numbers might look okay, it feels like certain groups are getting absolutely hammered.
It's not evenly distributed. The World Economic Forum notes that while 41% of organizations expect to reduce their workforce in these roles, 70% plan to hire for new AI skills. It's a mutation.
And Fassio points to a serious gender disparity here.
It's significant.
Yeah.
The ILO and Reuters found that female-dominated occupations face a much higher risk of transformation, about 9.6% compared to only 3.5% for male-dominated roles.
Damn, that is nearly triple.
It is. And it's not a culture thing. It's strictly because of the type of work. Administrative, clerical, scheduling, these roles have historically been female-dominated, and they are ground zero for LLMs.
It's the training wheels work.
And that creates the junior crisis. This is the part of the analysis that genuinely worries me long-term. AI is effectively eating the junior coordinator layer.
Right. If the AI writes the first draft, schedules the meeting, and summarizes the notes, what does the junior person do?
And more importantly, how do they learn? We operate on an apprenticeship model. You learn judgment by doing the grunt work. If you bypass that, you create a massive knowledge gap.
So we're burning the bridge behind us.
Essentially, Fassio puts it very bluntly. If nobody does the junior work, Nobody knows how to become a senior anything.
That is terrifying. We could end up with senior leaders who never learned the basics because an algorithm did it for them.
Or we just want to have senior leaders because companies stopped hiring juniors 10 years ago to save money on the diet.
Okay, so that's the risk. But then you have CEOs like Mustafa Suleyman at Microsoft AI saying most white-collar tasks could be automated in 12 to 18 months. That feels very different.
It does. But Fassio says we should treat that as executive belief, not labor economics.
What's the difference?
Executive belief is ambition. It's a sales pitch. It assumes a straight line. But economies, they don't move in straight lines. Fassio says they move like a shopping cart with one busted wheel.
I feel that spiritually. You try to go straight, but it just keeps veering left into the frozen pizzas.
That's the economy. It veers,
Yeah.
It hits regulations, it hits cultural pushback.
That's right.
Fassio does outline what would make that bad timeline, that 22% chance, actually happen.
Okay, the three horsemen of the employment apocalypse, what are they?
Number one is agentic reliability.
Agentic? We're hearing that a lot. What's that mean?
Think of it like this. A chatbot answers a question. An agent completes a mission.
So a chatbot writes the email, an agent writes it, sends it, books the meeting, and reserves the conference room.
Exactly. And the reliability part is key. Right now, if you ask an AI to do 5 things in a row, it'll probably screw up at step 3.
It books the conference room in a building you don't work in.
Right. But once that reliability hits 99.9%, once you can trust it with your credit card unsupervised, that's when the economics shift violently.
Got it. What's number 2?
Cheap, secure integration. It has to be plug and play, as easy as installing an app.
And the third?
This one's the silent killer. Executive fear.
Fear of what?
Fear that the risk of not automating is worse than the risk of automating badly. If executives think their competitors are doing it, they will force it through, even if it breaks everything. Fear is a hell of a project manager.
It's corporate FOMO.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, so we've got the forecast, the risks, the ghost jobs. Let's get to the actionable part. Fassio has a survival guide.
He does. And the core message is this. Don't rely on your job title. Your title might survive. You might still be a marketing manager, but the job description is going to change completely.
The tasks are unbundling.
Right. So he suggests 3 new identities or archetypes. First is the operator.
The operator.
This is the person who drives the AI to produce better, faster work. They're not just saying, write me an email. They're saying, here's the data, here's the context, analyze these variables, give me a draft. They treat the AI like a high-powered engine.
Okay. Identity 2, the auditor.
This is huge. If AI is generating all this work, someone needs to verify it.
But isn't that just proofreading?
It's way more aggressive than that. The auditor stress tests the logic. They're asking, is this hallucinated? Is this compliant? Is this actually right?
You become the editor-in-chief, not the writer.
Yes. And here's a hard truth. To be a good auditor, you have to be better than the AI. You can't catch a subtle error if you don't understand the model yourself.
So you need more expertise to use the AI safely, not less.
That is the paradox.
Yeah.
Accountability cannot be automated. You can delegate the task, but you can't delegate the blame.
That's a bumper sticker right there. Okay, identity number 3, the owner.
The owner designs the workflows. They take accountability for the outcomes. They're the ones saying, here is how we use this machine to solve a problem.
So the goal is to be the person who says, here's what we can automate, here's what we shouldn't, and here's how we measure the damage if we guess wrong.
That is the ultimate job security, being the strategic layer above the automation.
It's almost like we all need to become middle managers for a bunch of silicon-based interns.
That's a great way to put it.
So to wrap this all up, the data says we're not heading for a cliff. We're heading for a very steep, very rocky hill.
A messy unclenching. It's going to be political, slow, and uneven. There will be winners, people who become operators, auditors, and owners, and there will be losers, especially in that entry-level layer.
But the narrative of we are all doomed by next Tuesday is just...
It's dopamine. It sells ads, but it doesn't reflect the friction of the real world.
I think that's the most comforting thing I've heard in a while. The world is too messy to end efficiently.
Laughs. That is a perfect way to put it. Inefficiency is our shield.
Well, there you have it. The great white-collar unclenching. It's not the end of work, but it is the end of work as we know it.
Which leaves a final question for everyone listening, right? If the training wheels tasks are gone, the scheduling, the summarizing, the basic emails, what value are you adding tomorrow that an algorithm can't generate in 3 seconds?
Oof. That is the question to stare at the ceiling and think about tonight.
It is. But it's better to think about it now than when the intern takes your seat.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening to the Reflect Podcast, where we're telling the future. Are you in it? Visit reflectpodcast.com and share your story.
In the cyber ocean of online voices and recycled content, something different has arrived. Reflect isn't just another podcast, it's the future of storytelling, powered entirely by AI. From curating data to assembling thought-provoking ideas, we've redefined how journeys are told. Reflect is a podcast that thinks, learns, and evolves with each episode. Every tale, every insight, crafted by the most advanced AI technologies. A podcast that disrupts the industry, breaking free from traditional formats, taking you on an entirely new experience. So tune in now and reflect. We're telling the future.